A young man enters a room, his posture a careful negotiation between eagerness and control. He is there to be seen, to be chosen, to begin the meticulous work of building a version of himself that might one day cast a very long shadow. Sebastian Stan's performance as a young Donald Trump in The Apprentice is not an impersonation seeking applause, but a quiet, unsettling study in observation. He captures the physicality, the deliberate, almost stiff posture, the searching eyes that seem to be calculating angles in every interaction, but the film, directed by Ali Abbasi, is less interested in caricature than in architecture. It is about the blueprint of a persona, and the master builder who provided the tools. The film's production was an exercise in atmospheric precision. Cinematographer Casper Tuxen, known for his work on The Celebration, bathes 1970s and 80s New York in a palette of muted golds, deep browns, and cold office fluorescence. It's a world that feels both grimy and gilded, a perfect visual metaphor for the transactional allure at the story's heart. The sound design is equally deliberate, often letting the oppressive silence of boardrooms or the hollow echo of empty construction sites speak louder than dialogue. This is not a sprawling biopic, but a focused chamber piece centered on a pivotal relationship. The film's true gravitational pull comes from Jeremy Strong's Roy Cohn. Strong, in a performance of terrifying, coiled intensity, embodies Cohn not as a cartoon villain, but as a corrosive philosopher king of New York's dark arts. His mentorship is the film's core curriculum. Their first meeting is a masterclass in thematic setup. Trump seeks Cohn's legal help, but Cohn immediately reframes the transaction. He isn't selling legal services, he's offering an education. "I don't want lawyers," Cohn says, his voice a low rasp. "I want students." In this moment, the dynamic is cemented. This is not about friendship or paternal care. It is a transfer of methodology, a virus of conduct. The lessons are granular and brutal. Cohn teaches Trump to weaponize perception, attack, 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 never defend. He reframes weakness as strength, litigation as publicity, and debt as leverage. Director Abbasi stages these tutorials not as dramatic monologues, but as intimate, almost clinical procedures. We watch Stan's Trump absorb, internalize, and practice these tenets, his initial naivete hardening into a practiced performative aggression. A key theme the film dissects is the commodification of identity. For Cohn, the self is merely a tool for projection and power. We see Trump learning to treat his own name not as a personal identifier, but as a brand to be constructed, a logo to be leveraged. His marriage to Ivana, played by Maria Bakalova, is framed through this lens, a strategic alliance, a necessary prop in the narrative of success he is assembling. The film subtly contrasts two forms of building. There is the physical construction of Trump Tower, a monument of glass and brass, rising from the rubble of the Bonwit Teller building. And then there is the simultaneous construction of the man. The screenplay, by Gabriel Sherman, cleverly intercuts boardroom negotiations with construction site footage, suggesting they are the same process. The man is being erected, floor by floor, on a foundation of Cohn's axioms. Yet, The Apprentice is also a story of a corrupted education. As Trump's power grows, the pupil begins to eclipse the teacher. The film's most poignant and chilling moments come as Cohn, ravaged by AIDS and abandoned by the political establishment he served, finds himself on the receiving end of his own teachings. The man who preached loyalty is weakness dies isolated, his most successful student conspicuously absent. This reversal is handled with devastating subtlety. A late phone call between them is a masterpiece of subtext. Trump's tone is all business, a hollow performance of concern. Cohn, in his weakness, can only watch the monster he helped create operate with a flawless, impersonal efficiency. The protege has fully metabolized the lesson. Sentiment is a liability. The film's conclusion avoids grand historical pronouncements. Instead, it offers a haunting, intimate coda, We see Trump now inhabiting the fully formed public persona, standing alone in his glittering, empty atrium. The camera holds on Stan's face, which has settled into the familiar, inscrutable mask. But the film has shown us the assembly line that created it. The silence in that tower is deafening. It is the sound of a vacuum where a soul might have been. He is won by the ruthless metrics he was taught. He has the tower, the brand, the power. Yet the film leaves us with the profound emptiness of that victory, the hollowness of a self built entirely as a weapon and a shield. Abbasi's film is ultimately a tragedy of mentorship. It shows how identity can be not discovered, but manufactured, how values can be replaced by tactics. Roy Cohn didn't just create a businessman or a politician. He helped forge an icon of pure transactional identity, a man who became a living embodiment of his mentor's darkest creed, that in the end, power is the only truth and everything else, loyalty, truth, even the self, is just a negotiable asset. The Apprentice stands as a significant cinematic work, not for its political subject, but for its human insight. It is a chilling, beautifully crafted examination of the factory where a certain kind of American figure is made. It reminds us that behind every public persona, there is a private education, and sometimes the most lasting thing a teacher builds is not a student's character, but their armor. Thank you for watching until the end. We pour our passion into every single video essay, exploring the stories behind the movies we all love. If you stumbled upon this video by chance, there is a very high probability you might never see our channel again in your feed. So please take a moment to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and ring the bell. We are actively growing this community of cinema lovers, and your support is what helps us make our content better and more insightful every single day. Let's explore the magic of filmmaking together. See you in the next one,